Okay, since stepping into your role, what's been your top strategic priorities for scaling Portus Data Centers across the DACH region? And I guess maybe tell us, when you arrived, where from, etc. But and then tell us obviously a little bit more about the priorities.
Yeah, thanks, Phil, for the question. So yeah, there has been a lot. I checked when I arrived 7 months ago, and Portus Data Centers was in a very interesting stage, which attracted me to the business anyway, because it's a great market in Germany and the German-speaking area, and the portfolio. The discussions with the shareholder. So that was all very inspiring and interesting to me. What were the two, three things I visited first? So there was one brand even was missing. So the company didn't really operate yet as Portus Data Center in all the markets, which is Hamburg, Luxembourg, and Munich today. And so that's something quickly I changed. Obviously, we started with one brand, one website, one product portfolio even. So that was different. Just the history of Portus obviously were acquisitions done in the past by my shareholder Arcus Infrastructures, and they started to acquire a company in Hamburg, a carve out in Munich, and a company in Luxembourg. So it was a little bit different portfolios, different structure, different processes, different brands. So, and that's kind of what I'm just telling, what the homework list, if you like, what needed to be done, streamline the processes, restructuring the company, the organization, put in place a professional organization. It's like head of sales, marketing, operation technology, legal, HR, and so forth. So these some of these roles actually didn't really exist, and certainly didn't exist for all the three assets. So organizational restructuring, rebranding, and put one identity to the company for our customers first and foremost, but obviously also for internal reason, so that the company has one identity as well. So those were the three big topics I addressed over the last 3, 4 months.
Okay, and I know the company is focused on scaling across the DACH region in particular. So please tell us a bit more about the key factors that have influenced the decision to expand specifically in Munich and Hamburg, and how those locations will support or are supporting your long-term, growth ambitions.
Thank you for the question. So maybe just starting quickly with the name Portus, Latin harbor. So this is already telling why who we are and why we pick those markets. So we want to be like a safe harbor. We want to be very secure to our customers. So a very robust product offering. In fact, Luxembourg, for example, or the Munich side, both are tier 4 uptime tier 4 sites. So in German version would be VK4, and the uptime 4 is for Luxembourg. So very robust offering, very secure. So that's one of the basically coming from the name, coming from the product portfolio, our identity. Second one would be the collaboration part, the connectivity. So all the sites are super well connected, and it's important to us. Like in every harbor, you have lots of interaction with all parties, and we want to attract our customers because also of the connectivity and the add-ons to the service we can give. So most of our customers also buy interaction IP access from us, by just the cross connects anyway, but even campus networks to extend their campus to other operations they have in the IT. So the network element and the service element is very important to our customer. And the third one is scalability. So our offering, our customers who want to choose Portus Data Centers, they should know, and they do know and choose us because they know they can grow with us. So in all the sites, Hamburg, Luxembourg, and Munich, we have capability to grow further. We just need to also who we are and who we not are. So yes, we are great in the color multi-tenant environment. The sites today are all around 2 megawatts today. Scaling and like the Munich project is now growing to 5.5. So in total, 7.5 megawatt. So this is kind of where we are today. But yes, we are not 70 megawatts or 100 megawatts either. So not in the hyperscale business. That would be more the flat markets, I guess, and more Frankfurt focused. We are what we call in the industry the tier 2, tier 3 markets. But there's a good reason because of the connectivity, the closeness to the enterprise final customer of our customer. The reason is really also a change in technology in these days. So why did we pick Munich and Hamburg and Luxembourg? Well, there's good reason. If it's just hyperscale, you would, and still is, you would go and choose Frankfurt as your destination. But there's 3 reasons why we didn't do that. First of all, there's an opportunistic one. The opportunistic reason is there's a bit of shortage in Frankfurt when it comes to power and the political pushback now on certain projects. But the strategic reason, the 2 strategic reasons why we are thinking Hamburg, Luxembourg, Munich is great locations. And going forward, what's next? So we're also checking out the Berlin region, the Düsseldorf, Cologne region, the regions, German speaking, where there's strong economy. So that drives me to the economy, drives me to the use cases. So there are 2 trends I mentioned in the market. One certainly is AI driven. There's a big push in AI, but our focus would be the interference of AI with other IT projects, workloads, not the modeling part. The modeling part, obviously, you would then 20, 30, 50 megawatts upwards, most likely not even in Germany because too expensive is the power. So you look for Norway, Finland, Sweden, Iceland, if it's Europe. So we are in the interference, and that needs these AI models needs to interfere with the enterprises of the world. And in Germany, it's very distributed. So it's not all in Frankfurt. For sure, it's in Munich. For sure, in Hamburg and other markets. So this is the AI interference reason. And the second one is a change of cloud as well. So there are 2 within this change of cloud. I'm calling it, let's say, a decentralization of the cloud. So even with this big hyperscalers, they started to think about how can we attract customers who worry about sovereignty reason, who worry about the Cloud Act and so forth. So they start to grow offerings. Let's say pick AWS, where they have a sovereign offering, and part of the sovereign offering is also their product called Outpost. So and OVH Cloud, my former company where I worked before, they have a product called OPCP, On-Prem Cloud Platform. And there's Google, they launched a product with, they won this German Defense Ministry some while ago, which is public knowledge. So there are certain areas where the clouds grow in the regions now, and not necessarily in one scalable infrastructure like in Frankfurt. That's still happening, but for certain use cases within these, let's say, DAX companies and public sector companies, they want to have a cloud experience, but ideally air-gapped from the big US cloud, more sovereign, more isolated, if you like, and certainly closer to their customers' choice or the data center of the customer choice, which is in the regions where the traffic actually matters, where the customers are actually located. So if you think about Munich, it would be maybe the big automotive customers or some insurances customers or IT customers. In Hamburg, it's a lot of shipping, media, and so forth. So this is the cloud, decentralized cloud, if you like. Some actually, customers not even moving things into the cloud anymore. They virtualize themselves and put it in their own data center or the data center of their choice. So this is let's say, the decentralization of the cloud, the AI interference that is also driving the demand into the region tier 2, tier 3 markets. We're not moving to the very small edge markets because we still believe in a strong economy around. So we will pick the markets where you have a strong growth business, a strong economy. And that's the choice why Hamburg, why Munich, why Luxembourg, and future growth expansion plans as well.
Okay, so you're responding to, as you say, the AI demand, although the not the large language models, but what
Yeah.
comes after, and also you say cloud sovereignty, decentralization. Um, in responding to that, please give us some idea of what differentiates Portus Data Centers from other providers. I mean, I guess the German market could be seen as quite competitive. So how would you characterize yourselves as sort of standing out or doing something a little bit different from some of the others?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, first of all, this is like a bit of the real estate business in general, like location, location, location. So you need to have a good offering and in a good location to be interesting to the market. That's basically a paramount and one of the pillars of the differentiator. So think about Munich. We will bring now end of this year, this calendar year, our additional 5.5 megawatt in we call Munich 2 data center live. And by the time in end of December this year, until most likely into 2028, to our knowledge, there's no one else in the market with such big capacity coming live in the Munich market or the southern Germany market, if you like. So already the fact being in the right location at the right time with the right capacity is already a factor. And obviously that needs to be well planned and you're not always hitting the right time and the right city or location. But our investor and ourselves, we've been very smart and very forward thinking that and we still already see a lot of demand coming in now for the new capacity because the market is aware, oh, there's something happening now. And who else has capacity in Munich? Oh, not a lot. So great timing, great offering. So this is one, if you think about USP, it needs to be the right time and the right location as well. But on top of just being in the right spot at the right time is the service offering. At the end, it has to do with people. We're all in the same industry. We can all build a facility and could buy from the same factories and same utility engineering companies. So it's the UPSs, the generators, and all the chiller. I mean, there's a number of companies you can choose from and different products, but at the end, there's no magic. It's a magic how you run it, how you operate it, how quickly you serve your customer, how responsive you are to the customer. And that is really the biggest differentiator of all. Our customers in the focus what we do all the time. And that we know only by growing the customer, supplying the customer as best as possible, they will grow with us and continue to grow with us. So that mindset, that idea of customer first is really down to our hearts. And that's probably the biggest differentiator of all, next to having the right location, the right capacity and so forth. And then coming back to the name, the focus area, we might not be the only one doing it, but in the markets, we're doing it very well, that we have really thought about the connectivity, the right level of security, the balance about a robust offering, so to be attractive. So if you pick Hamburg, by far, we have more than 40 carriers on the site today. By far, we have probably almost double the amount of connectivity choices to our customers than everyone else in the market. And by that definition, if you think about the Hamburg market, the Nordics, where some of the fiber cables coming in from the Nordics being distributed to the rest of Europe. I mean, there are several fiber systems running really through Hamburg. Because we have attracted so many carriers over the years, we are almost 30 years in the market in Hamburg. So that's why it generates further demand. People know if you want to have great connectivity in the Nordics, the northern part of Germany, if you want to connect to the Nordics from Germany, they come to Portus Data Centers because there's no better choice. But it's hard work. It needs to be done. It needs to be connected. We need to attract those carriers to come to us. And so we did in Luxembourg. So we did and focus on Munich as well. So the knowledge about what colocation is important to our colocation customers, that is what we focus on and deliver that services. Maybe not unique, like this is not an intellectual property as such or so, but it is the focus where we are good at and why customers come to us.
Okay, and I'm also wondering, sustainability is clearly a big topic in the industry. So just your approach to that, whether it's obviously in your existing buildings or as you build out new facilities, and maybe the sort of second part of that, whether it's to do with sustainability or elsewhere, the emerging technologies or infrastructure trends that are being prioritized or focused on again as you build out new capacity. So I guess I could almost say what's new, but clearly a bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah. No, thank you for that question. There are a couple of elements to sustainability in our industry. Let's start with where are we actually getting the power from? Where are we buying it? So today, 100% of what we offer to our customers is green energy. It's sustainable. We are not buying power from any coal or gas turbines or projects or nuclear in Germany. I know the French would think different. It's super green, but in Germany, we are still a bit cautious about the nuclear power. So we actually buy all the power from green sources. So wind, solar, even water. We buy power from Norway. So that included even all the elements of green, like water, solar, and wind elements, mix it in and buy it. So all our power is green. That's the first pillar of sustainability. But then, obviously, you want to run your data center as efficient as possible to use less energy and reduce the PUE as much as possible. So in the existing data centers, obviously, if they are a couple of years old, they are not maybe at the latest PUE points, but all our sites are less than 1.4. And that's already a big achievement, even for sites who are operating a couple of years in the market already. The new one in Munich, obviously by law, because in Germany we have the bill of the energy efficiency bill, that is now getting to 1.2 PUE. So the latest new build is obviously sticking to the German law and is very efficient. So 1.2. This is already a very, very good efficiency rate. Obviously, the next project we will have plans to grow in Hamburg for another 12.8 megawatt would be the same. So also aiming for the design. We are stage 3, we are stage 3 right now. So the design is already obviously also driven by the German law, 1.2 in PUE. So efficient, buying green. What next? So how can you further improve your sustainability? So it's the way you build, the way you treat waste, all the elements that needs to be optimized as well. But we are thinking about new cooling technologies, obviously, to drive even better efficiency grades and using power even more efficient. So obviously you're thinking about liquid cooling then in this case. And there's something we plan already with our customers, the partners, the ecosystem, how we can, especially when you think about AI and kilowatt rates going up and up and up, how we can cool even more efficiency out the workloads in our data center. We do it in a mix. So when we grow, because we are multi-tenant, we will have to factor in that we have some traditional customers, maybe with workloads 10-ish kilowatt per footprint, plus minus, could be even 15. That's still air cooled up to 20 kilowatt, maybe even 30 kilowatt. You can still cool it with traditional, maybe enhanced technologies, but traditional way of cooling with air. But then growing beyond 50, 100 kilowatt per rack, no other choice than going into a liquid cooling. And with that, you don't build your entire data center like this because multi-tenant, you have a mix, but certain data halls or areas. And that's we are progressing well. It a little bit depends on the customer as well, their requirements, but there are solutions on the market which we are now checking, and you will probably see in the next coming of months a first announcement in the market with liquid cooling coming from Portus Data Center, driven by interesting customer demand. So this is also part of our sustainability route.
And just in terms of the partnership, the collaboration side of thing, which seems to be becoming increasingly important, just if anything you can share. I don't know whether you do any work with the hyperscalers. Obviously, they're in a different market, but whether you work together, the enterprises, your customers, local stakeholders, how important are these partnerships in supporting your expansion strategy?
Yeah, that's actually this is a good one because we have two, three ways to go to the market. So first of all, our today's customer is very, very widespread, which is very good because we are multi-tenant, because we are in the colo market, and there's also some German ones in the mix, international ones in the mix. So we are very strong in the public sector. We have also on the enterprise, more traditional customers in certain sectors, great success. Here I cannot name yet, but there's from the healthcare sector, and that's very likely because they're very sensitive around sovereignty reason. A lot are not moving to any US hyperscale cloud anymore because of this Cloud Act and so forth. So they stay more in-house and give workloads to our data centers. So this is another area, public sector, healthcare sector. We have now increasing finance sector customers coming from the finance sector as well. The automotive as well, but maybe not critical data of their end customer data, like in healthcare, like healthcare data, but because of the AI interference. There's a lot in Germany happening around automotive. So those are the sectors we're focusing on. And we have really from DAX companies, banks, I cannot name them, but very large banks in Europe, also our customer base. On the hyperscaler and content distributors, we have a lot of customers as well. Not for computer storage. We would be too small and it's the wrong location. All the US, AWS, Google, Azure, and the likes, they have their big workloads, obviously in Frankfurt. No doubt. But now for some of them, we are offering great location because of the backbone. So we have some of these as our customers because of our strong network element to it. And that's, again, not because we offer 50 megawatts contiguous space, but we offer a great network more for the network purpose. So that's another area. So we are having those customers, but for network purposes first and foremost. And then we seem to get more AI-driven project, neoclouds. So this is a very interesting one. But we're focusing on those with the right risk profile and with the right sizing, because again, we are in the single megawatt range. Hamburg will be the first time above 10 megawatt, but we will not, and Germany would be the wrong location anyway for these very strong modeling training centers. So that's not the focus, but on the neoclouds, the interference is another very interesting customer sector. Talking partners, we're going directly to the business, like these verticals, but we're also using our partner model to address the market. It's threefold. We have classic referral partners, just basically handing over here's an idea. We have heard about this project, and we engage, but we got the referral from somebody else, and we honor that commercially. A second one would be, we call that agency model. So we outsource the sales, if you like. Contract would be with us and the end customer, but the sales activity is coming from a trusted source of the customer. These are small consultancies, very much trusted advisors to the end customer. And this is an agency model. It's known in the market. We offer that as well. And there's a reseller model, especially for managed service providers and value-added reseller who add with our offering something on top, integration services, cloud services, and offers to the third parties. And these three dimensions of our partner program, we just rolled out like a month ago. And now going more public with and make a little bit more noise in the market so that people know we have a nice partner model. They can work with us very closely to address their end customers. So this is the way we go around with partners as well as the customer portfolio.
Okay, and maybe just to finish, looking slightly further ahead, I guess there's two parts. There's what does success look like for Portus Data Centers in your your sweet spot, the DACH region, but also I don't know if you have any sort of plans to go slightly further afield in terms of opportunities you see. So yes, I guess really it's what's on the road.
Yeah, what's next? What's
And
next?
how do you decide if you've if you are being successful at some stage or various stages along the way?
Yeah. No, this is actually we are in a nice position to have a good problem to have. We are now very fast. We are filling the sites, but as part of our product, also promise to be able to scale with our customers, we are constantly now thinking about growth options. To start with, we want to be and operate, and we will continue to operate in the German-speaking market. So Luxembourg is, I think Luxembourgish is like 90% Germany, 10% French. It's a bit of a mixed language, but it's a very German base. Includes obviously Germany, but Austria and Switzerland are in scope as well. But we want to stay in this region, want to known in this region for great collaboration, connectivity, great colo services for multi-tenant purpose. We will not go outside to any other like Southern European regions or UK or not our business. Other people do that. We stay in the region. So that's our strategy. But within the region, there's Germany is very much, or the German-speaking area, very much underfunded in fact, when it comes to data center capacity. We strongly believe there's a lot to be gained, even if the market is competitive. There's a lot to be done in Germany still, because it's distributed country and region. It's not centered around one city only, and because I mentioned in the early discussion the decentralization of the cloud as well as the AI interference that drives business to the edges, let's say, to the distributed regions within Germany. And that's why we believe there's still a lot to be done here. So think about markets in Berlin, think about Düsseldorf, Cologne, maybe Stuttgart, maybe Hanover. All those markets are of interest. We have 3 projects right now. Obviously, I cannot name them, but where we are progressing well. And we have a 2 strategy. One is brownfield. So we actually just finished one project. We haven't announced it yet in the market, but we're just finishing it now, where we use a brownfield approach and like we did in the past, and just do a carve out and just go with the existing footprint and upgrade the footprint and then bring new capacity live to the market. So brownfield, and there are 2 in parallel we're discussing. And then there's the greenfield one. And this is in scope as well, in the range 10 to 20 megawatts. That's kind of the sweet spot for greenfields. Again, 2 projects right now in scope in certain markets I mentioned earlier. So you will expect from us within the next 6 to 12 months to announce new capacity in the market. So we will grow in this market, in the German-speaking market, over the next 3-5 years, another 3, 4, maximum 5 data center capacities in the range 5 to 20 megawatt. That's kind of where you can expect us to do some announcements.
Excellent. I mean, it's been great to chat, and thank you so much for sharing so many great insights into what's going on at Portus, and how you're growing the company and planning to in the future. So Falk, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.